that as well. But we're going to be talking about the soil food way of life and all about no-till gardening today. So as we go on, here we go, y'all. Go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself, Big Worm.
So I'm a recent graduate of Virginia State University. I'm a Trojan. Graduated with a degree in agriculture education. So teaching people about growing cannabis, growing food, growing everything is definitely where my passion is. So right now I'm going under the company Cannabis DC.
Okay.
So what we're doing is helping people learn to grow, connect with the community. Definitely, I just personally got off disability, so I got a heart for people on disability, veterans. My partner is currently, also disabled, so, we're just trying to help people, man, basically. And with no-till, as you know, it's cheaper. In the long run, the price just goes down and down. The soil is better, less inputs. You're not running to the hydro store to buy bottles. You're sourcing good amendments.
Definitely. It's all about the self-sustainability, man.
So
all day.
So that's me. And I've been growing no-till 4 years now. I've lost my soil a few times, unfortunately. So I'm firing back up. I'm back on the first cycle again. So you
started over with the soil?
I had to start over, man. I had rusted mites, and I did everything under the sun except, so I decided to get rid of them. So I got rid of everything.
Right.
So I'm just going to grow with that soil outdoors next year, sitting in the backyard.
And let nature take its course.
Right. So we'll put some veggies, stuff in it. But I just mixed up some new 20 gallons, man, and just started. But everything's looking good. I mean, that's the thing. You can be fine from day one with no-till.
Right.
So
now, when you ran into your russet mite, was that towards the beginning or the end? Obviously.
So the sour tangy, which is right here, no-till, that was just finishing, and it came in from a clone. I think that clone blew it around. I got good air movement all around the basement, and it went from one healthy plant to another. I'd get one plant healthy, and then it would move around. I recently talked to some people at a farming shop, and they gave me some tips for some approved products that they use out west. We can get some links up with them later on, but again, that product was in the $200 range. And then there was a liquid he said that you should follow up with 2 weeks later, and he said that was $200 for like 2 gallon, 2 little small bottle or whatever.
Right.
2.5 ounces, I think he said of it. It was like $200. So I just had to scrap everything, man. That was what was affordable.
No, I mean, sometimes that's just the best thing to do, and that also brings up a great topic about when you're getting clones, man. Make sure, man, that you quarantine your clones, because you just never know, man. Even if you know the gardener, he's as clean as ever want to be, you just don't know, man. It's not visible to the naked eye, and you won't know until it's too late. So, unless you're Superman, man, make sure you quarantine your clones, man. And, I definitely had my stings with, mines were with spotted. The spotted mites.
Right.
And that's where I go, man. Them the devils right there, boy. They gave me a run for my money, man, I did what you did. I just scrapped everything, and I was actually in the middle of flowering, and I just got so fed up with them, man. You can't spray no more in flower. The predator mites that I introduced, it was too far gone. It's too late. When it's too late, man, you just got to go ahead and throw your chips in, and that's it, man.
Yeah, from my understanding, the predators are more of a preventative. If there's a major infestation, they can't,
it's
not,
exactly.
it's not what they do.
Like all these measures, like preventative, they're all preventative measures. Can't wait till you actually see webs on your fucking plants. Then try to take care of the situation, because if you see the webs, it's too late. It's pretty much too late. If you see the webs, if you see, you look at your plants closely, you actually start to see feces from the damn spider mites, you definitely too late. So it's all about IPM and preventative and no-till, and hopefully in any type of gardening system that you got going in your garden.
What do you do for your IPM right now?
Well, right now I'm
or what would you be doing?
What I do is pretty much I start off with Method 1 PPS, which is a product that I've been using. It's a straight organic product. A guy from Oregon, actually a grower as well. and he uses a lot of organic products in the material. But that's what I start off with. Method 1 PPS. Y'all check that out. It's a good product. But I also use neem. I also fish sometimes if I'm feeding fish to my plants. Yeah, I know it's crazy, right? But sometimes I feed it that fish. I foliar feed with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, a lot of the product that goes into or a lot of the amendments that goes into the no-till soil can also be used as IPMs, as far as the neems, the crustacean, crab crustacean meal, whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these things, sometimes, man, if I'm feeding aloe vera and I got leftovers, I foliar feed with that. My plants love it. You know, they bounce right back. But it's all about preventative measures, man. It's IPM. I start off with that Method 1. And I use that through my veg. I don't have to use it as much no more as I did in the beginning. So it's like I spray with it once a week. Now that you have everything under control and you can keep it going that way. But when I start letting loose in flower, because I still be paranoid about mites, whichever one it may be.
I'm scoping every day, man.
I like to let my predators loose when I'm flowering, you know. So it's a preventative measure. It's not something that I'm really leaning or depending on.
I think that's the way to go.
Indeed.
And that's the way it is with organic, you know, farming in general. Is that, you know, the first step is manual removal. You know, you need to try some way to get them off of it before you even spray. You know,
exactly.
So, you know, preventative is a good form of that, I think. So where you wanna go? Did you want to go with some soil, some amendment? You want to talk more about some amendments?
No, actually, let's get into the soil, man, because you know, a lot of people in no-till, or a lot of people that's not doing no-till or organics and do use the synthetics always have this misconception of bugs in your medium, bugs in your soil, and that's a bad thing. Or it's going to be terrible, my whole crop's about to go down, and that's not the case.
Definitely not the case with a no-till. I think one of the major things, you can have some fungus gnats going on sometimes, depending on your mulch layer or what's decomposing. But really, that's all about balance.
Yeah, but you know, and the bugs that I'm also speaking on is the microbial life in the soil.
Okay.
You know, without this life, you're not going to grow the plant. Without the bacteria, without the fungi, without the protozoas, without all these living creatures, exactly. Let's see if we can see this on the camera.
You can probably bring it up. That's in that folder. There we go.
Oh, okay, there you go. Now you see, if you're looking at this, man, it's like when you was taught in school about
little fish eats big fish.
Exactly. You know, the life cycle and how we on top of the food chain and all that. This is exactly what this is, man. This picture is like from beginning, from the smallest to the biggest, and it ends with the mammals, the animals, and us being the mammals or whatever. So it's a food chain, man. And this is exactly how this works in the soil, man. Everyone plays a role. Now, if you don't have this in your soil, you're not going to grow. You're not going to have a good harvest. You're not really going to grow the plant to its fullest potential. So, you know, when people say we have bugs or living creatures, this is actually our farmers, man, our gardeners. This is actually what's growing our plants. So we need this in our soil. You know, for reasons being, they're nitrogen. They carry all the nitrogen the plant may need or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? All this is transformed from the bugs or from the organic matters to the bugs, to the soil, to the plant.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and in no-till, where we're getting that from is and if you remember our last show, DC Pharma talked about the mix, and the mix is a third mix, going back to Cornell University. So basically what that is a third of that is compost, and that high-quality compost is what is key to a no-till environment. If people are doing no-till and they're like, I'm having trouble, I'm having efficiencies, I'm having this, look at your compost. Where did you get your compost? You know, I personally use 4 or 5 different types, plus the worm castings. Again, the superstar, there's worms and the worm castings. So that's where all that life is really coming from. Is you got to have quality compost. If not, all you have is quality organic matter.
Exactly.
You got quality broken down material.
And I couldn't agree any more with him right here. I couldn't emphasize how important it is to have the quality compost. That is key. That is definitely key in your soil. And once you have that compost, the next key will be is keeping it up. And it just gets better and better through time. And I'm telling you, this is what's going to, with the worms in the soil and all that, it's going to be an incredible thing. I'm telling you, you're not spending money on advanced nutrients or whatever your choice may be. And the product that you get back, man, I know y'all hear this from us all the time, like, oh, you guys say it tastes better and all this and that. That's because it's true, man. You getting the food terpenes from the plant itself. You're not guessing. You're not saying, oh, my plant is calcium deficient, so let me feed him some calcium. Right. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that in the no-till gardening method. Everything's slow release. So once you start off with a good soil and the life is thriving, the longer you have that soil, the better it gets. I keep saying that, man, but that's the truth, man. You know, and the reason being because your microbial life just doubles. It gets bigger. The worms, oh, man, the worms reproduce like what? Every month or so.
And the good thing is they control their population. So people are like, you know, what do you do? Well, they're going to do their own thing. They're going to stop breeding when they don't have room or food. But the reality is if you're growing a 20-gallon container, you could easily have hundreds of worms in there. I mean, I raise worms. I raise worm casts. And so in that space, those 5, you know, I put about 20 worms at least in a 20-gallon container. And they're going to do their thing. They're fine. They're more than fine. So, you know, and one thing, too, you know, talking about a lot of that, the science behind what we're talking about, highly suggest the Teaming with Microbes book. Pick it up. I picked these up at the public library. Go to your public library. Get them for free. Read this book. And it talks about, you know, what DC Pharma was talking about with that nitrogen. You know, the bacteria actually are holding in their body. You got to think about it. Everything has carbon and nitrogen in it. We do, the plants do, these little bacteria do, and they're holding it in their body. So, you know, when they get eaten by the bigger nematode or protozoa comes through and eats those and then secretes waste, that is a plant available food right there. You know, right. It's all in the book if you want to get into the science, but you don't have to get into the science. You can build the soil, throw your cover crop, and start watering. You know, I mean,
yeah, definitely, man. And you definitely see if you keep up with what you got to do, you definitely see the results in the end game. And you know, like I said, the soil life is everything on here. But y'all give me 5 minutes, man. Let me pull up because I need to pull my page up so I can get the rest of my trichome chasers on here with me. I haven't pulled that up yet, so give me about 5 minutes and I'll be back with y'all. All right, all right. We're back.
Hey, what's up, everybody in chat? We can see the chat now. Underground Organics, man. Thanks for coming through.
Monster District on. I definitely couldn't see the chat before. That's why I took a pause to see what was going on. So now we back. So you guys got any questions, man? Just shoot them through, and I can see what's happening. I know my man Soil by Order came through here sometime. I don't know if he did or didn't. If he did, good looking out. Tony Baloney, what's going on with you?
I love his feed, man. He's got some pretty stuff.
All right, so let's get back to what we was talking about, man. We was talking about the I guess the soil food life, and you had mentioned when we met. Okay, this is what happened, man. This is how I met Big Worm. When I had my first stream right here in Listen Vision Live, he came through and showed love, man. And it's not a lot of no-till growers out here, man. So anytime I meet somebody that grows no-till, I like to stop and have a conversation. But
you know, I knew everybody. Every night there was someone doing cannabis, you know, Listen Vision Live. So I was like, let me see what's on Monday night. I said, no-till show. How do I not know about this?
Right.
I had no idea it was your premier show. So we were like, we got to go. So it was, yeah, absolutely, man.
And I meant to have sat down and had more time to speak, but I've been bouncing around so much lately, man. But I had to get him here on the show tonight, because once he told me that he could get amendments for you, man, that's a big deal. To me, that is a big deal, man, because when you are making this soil and being from where we are out here, it's not always easy to get every amendment that you need to put into your soil. And I can't stress enough how important it is to have not just the amendments that you need, but quality amendments.
And, you know, it really is about that. I drove 4 hours the other day to a little town in Southwest Virginia to pick up the amendments. I, you know, brought a truckload back so I could have them for people, you know, the rice halls. And it's really that you can source them, but you got to pay shipping.
Yeah, you do.
And that's one thing about the bottles too. You know, you're paying for shipping of water. And that's the no-till. It's not that you're not going to have to buy some stuff. You do, but you buy dry amendments like you're a farmer, not like you're a hydroponic retail dealer. And
not only do you buy dry, but they last.
Right, absolutely. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to offer the amendments in smaller quantities, because if you're doing a top dress, you don't need 5 pounds of everything. You know, you need a half cup. And, you know, so if I can give you what you need in a top dress, you know, and cover a little bit of an upcharge. And, I try to keep everything on an affordable price, because, again, we're trying to go, you know, nonprofit. I'm trying to help people learn to farm and take care of myself a little bit, but really just give back and make sure the stuff's available at an affordable price. So,
right. I mean, and that is such a big thing about this, man. It's like we see the products, and I'm not knocking. You know, I'm not knocking nobody's hustle, man. I'm not knocking the hydro shops. I'm not doing none of that. But sometimes we fall for the gimmick, man. You see the fucking cartoons and shit on the bottles, man, and I'm going to explode your bud 20 times fold. Man, what you're buying is water. I don't care how you put it, man. What they telling you what's in that bottle, what you are buying is 90% water.
Definitely.
So even if you're like want to grow with chemical nutrients and all that, it's research that you could do into that to actually create your own nutrients that might be better for you in the long run, man. Like I said before, man, this game is brand new. This plant is being rediscovered. So I'm not saying that, you know, your way is wrong, but if you're buying shit from the stores, man, you're getting robbed. I'm telling you that. You know what I'm saying?
So my man, Underground Organics, was asking about biochar. I got turned on to biochar probably 6+ years ago. Actually, at my community college, they had a guy come out and he made biochar in steel drums. And I was learning that, and it was a process, you know, it's kind of interesting. But biochar, not only, he was saying, it definitely, the nutrient exchange, it acts as a sponge. So if you think about it like that, it's completely acting as a sponge.
Exactly.
It's a sponge, and it's a condominium for microbes. So if you look at it under the microscope, it is literally hundreds of thousands of square meters, miles, or whatever, of just space. So that's why if you look at the videos on our Instagram for Cannabis DC, you can see after 8 hours of putting that on there that the mycelium are already all over that mat. They're there, you know.
Right.
And so it's going to hold water. It's going to hold nutrients. It's neutral pH, so it doesn't mess with anything in the soil. It's not going to degrade. I mean, the carbon, it's pure carbon, so it's going to last forever. So it's just going to improve. You know, the worms love it. The worms eat it and pull it down.
Exactly.
They digest it.
And me personally, with the biocharge, I've been into it for like a year now. Just kind of getting into it.
Right.
But from everything that I've seen and from the research that people have done, man, like what you just said is like Motel 6 for these
it's
microbes,
amazing.
man.
It really
It's
is
like,
amazing.
And it also works like how the lava rock works in the soil, which helps aerate the soil. But in time, the biocharge will break down, but it also does that for your soil as well. You understand? So it's so many pluses with it, man, and it's something very, very. If you haven't started your soil yet and you're about to start your soil, please do add biocharge because it's a definite plus in your soil.
Absolutely. Make sure you charge it, and what people mean by that is you got to add nutrients to it. You can put it in your compost and let it compost. Is a good way to do it, or you can add liquid nutrients to it. The benefit of that is because it's a sponge, it needs to suck something up, soak it up first, so it's not soaking up your nutrients when you put it in there. So make sure you charge it up some way.
Yeah. What else you guys want to know out there? I know for sure I got some of my no-till gardeners out there on the Trichome Chaser fans, man. I put the link out in chat and our little private chat. So y'all always welcome to jump on my show, man. So I know I got some organic gardeners there. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that ain't, they definitely like coming through, you know, putting in their 2 cents, you know, want to know about this and that. So, you know, any of my Trichome Chasers family want to come through, y'all more than welcome. I know people keep hearing me say that. Like, what the hell is Trichome Chasers? Yeah, man, look, this let me explain this to y'all. It's a lot of live streams out here going on YouTube and everything, right? Simply put, Trichome Chasers was one of the first out there along with the grow tube and all that. So let's not get it twisted. So they've been around for a second, but the reason I like to show them love because they seen me come out in the game, man, and they just reached out to me and showed me that same love right back. So that's why I always screaming out Trichome Chasers, man, just for them showing me that love. So this show right here is DC Pharma Show. Y'all always welcome on this panel, man. Y'all, I'ma always put that link in our little private chat so y'all could jump in. So don't be no strangers. If y'all don't come on this Monday, I got next Monday, the Monday after that, and the Monday after that. I'm going to be here now, man. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to be here now. We're going to be talking about organics because there's everything else being talked about on this internet except the organics and the benefit that it has not only to the plant, to your body, but to the earth. You understand what I'm saying? It's like when I started this shit, I don't mean to pause for a minute, Big Worm, but when I started this shit, man, let me tell y'all where I live at, man. I'm from Washington, D.C., man. Born and raised, man. I live in a fucking place called Simple City. For anybody that knows where the fuck that's at that live out here, then you understand what the hell I'm saying. We ain't into gardening, man. You know what I mean? So this shit really grabbed a hold of me from the beginning when I first discovered it, man. And it did for a reason, man. It did because it's real. I don't deal with bullshit, man. I ain't sitting here telling no lies. I ain't even selling you shit right now. I ain't got shit to sell you. I ain't trying to sell you on shit. If you don't believe me, that's on you. But what I'm telling you, man, when I'm telling you the truth, this is the truth, man. This shit is real. This shit is work. It's been working since the fucking days of time, man. I don't know who the fuck we think we are to be questioning Mother Nature, man, but this is what it really is, man. This is the natural process of gardening that we're trying to teach you right now, or that we're trying to re-teach you, because this is something that we should have been knowing from day one. Do you know out here in our schools, man, they don't teach us shit about agriculture, man?
I've learned a little bit about that. I saw actually one of the ladies I graduated with, she just got a job teaching 6th grade agriculture. I was really not happy to see that the CTE program, the Career and Technical Education program here, did not have an agriculture program.
Yeah, man.
So you know, but the University of Washington has a master's in urban farming. So it seems to me there's a little disconnect there.
And you also have the University of Maryland right up the street. So, you know, it's definitely a disconnect. But things are starting to be, right now, I guess, relearned.
Right.
Or however you want to put it, man. But when I came up in middle school, high school, man, we wasn't learning about agriculture, man. So when I started this no-till, man, it's, to me, it's like I said, it snatched me. It's like learning a whole new thing all over again, man. So it took me away from the place I'm at now. You know, don't get me wrong. I love where I live at. That's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But it also takes your mind away from shit when you don't want to deal with bullshit. You know what I mean? Gardening, man. It's like, I don't know. I'm going on a rant.
No, man. You gotta understand, urban farming is not only my passion. I mean, that's everything I'm here about, man. And it changes people's lives, and not only on a physical connection. We're talking about take it back to the microbes. They've proven that touching the soil, there's microbes that make you happy. You know, the soil technically makes you happy when you're playing in the soil.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Not, you know, on a physical level, science level, mental level, you know, and going back and being able to put raised beds in those communities and teaching a child what actual food is and what a whole food looks like, you know, that is transformative, and that's dear to my heart, man. That's so, you know. And I'm on the soapbox with you, sir. I'm holding you up there.
And since we're talking about this, let's get back in topic, right? The soil, right?
Yeah. So we had a question about some insect frass, some calcium. You want to hit on any of them?
Yeah. Well,
or what you want to go with?
The insect frags and the This is how I feel. I'm not trying to push nobody away from the insect frags or any of that.
I mean, I'll give you my 2 cents on it too.
This is how I feel about it. I think it's a plus. I think it's good to have in your soil, definitely. But if you have these living organisms in your soil already, you have insect frags in your soil. Meaning that in my vision and in my mind, when I see the soil, it's a constant battle in there. Good guy versus the bad guys. You know what I mean? So it's bugs in there dying. How you guys want to say it? There's bugs in your soil, but guess what? They're also dying too in there. So that's where I see the insect frags coming in at as well. So
so my take is I added it. I got some and I added it at a 1/4 cup, just like I do the alfalfa. I do feel it heated it up a little bit because it is a 2-2-2, so I do feel like it did heat it up a little bit. I think it's safer to use as a tea. Boogie Brew, which I really like their tea, they added at the end. And the chitnays, I hope I'm saying that right. Y'all forgive me.
I swear that word is a tricky one.
So
chitney.
Right. So the fungi, that does help feed them. But we already have that in the soil with the crab meal.
Exactly.
So that's already there. So the reality is, it's something you probably don't need. So, get a little, if you get the little teeny bag, it'll last you forever. If you add it to the end of your compost tea, I think a 1/4 cup per 5 gallon or something like that. As far as the calcium, man, there's so much calcium in that soil. You got the oyster shell flour, which is pure calcium.
Right.
And the cation exchange capacity of the soil is so large that the calcium is there. I mean, if you're having problems with calcium and no-till, it's because of moisture. I can tell you that from my experience. It's because of moisture. You're not keeping your soil. You got to keep the soil moist. I don't know if we really talked about that, but keeping the soil evenly moist is, I think, very, very important.
It's also another saying in no-till that if you're having problems, because some people will have problems.
I mean,
they want to add,
it in,
take out, or whatever the case may be. But it's a saying, man. It's a saying in no-till. From the forums and stuff, it's called, if you're running into a problem and you see deficiencies or whatever, it's called laughter, which means leave it the fuck alone. You know what I mean? It's like, don't try to go in there fixing it, saying it need this or I need to add that. Let it ride its course, because what you have in your soil, if you have a good aerobic soil or aerobic bacteria in your soil, they're gonna win, man. Let them do what they got to do. It'll take hold. Feed the water. Don't keep adding amendments, malted barley, coconut, whatever the case, fish, whatever you want to add to your water when you're watering. Don't do that. Just feed water. This is only if you see deficiency, and let nature take its course. It'll work itself out.
Check your humidity as well. If your humidity is too low, that vapor deficit pressure is real in no-till, and it's more real in no-till than in bottles. Because in bottles, the bottle is sending the nutrients to the plant. And no-till, the plant's got to pull it up with the microbes. There's a natural exchange going on. So if your humidity's all up, it's going to be pulling nutrients and getting burned, and it's no good. So,
you know, and
that's true, Supreme G. I completely agree with that, man. Talking about the health, you know, and food deserts and
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and this form of growing will cancel a lot of these things out, man. Especially like some of these places where people think we can't grow anymore because the dirt or the ground is too far gone. It's not. It's not.
We can revitalize.
We could revitalize all this, man. If you let the bacteria, the fungi, and everything, if you introduce it, you can introduce that shit to sand.
We can put down wood chips and grow in a parking lot.
I swear to you, man. I'm concerned. You could revitalize soil. You could, I'm telling you, in this form of growing.
That's my aeration mix he threw up there.
That's cool, man. I see you got the rice. That's the rice hull.
Yeah, we got rice hulls. We got the vermiculite at the top for the. I had that for the cation exchange. Then we got the pumice. We got the pumice there on the right. Vermiculite on the top. I'm getting the pumice. I'm gonna try to get a cubic yard of that in, man, so we can get it cheaper. Because right now that $12 a cubic foot's way too expensive.
Okay.
Lava rock. I'm smashing it with a hammer right now. That's highly inconvenient. I'm looking to get me a rock smasher, but again, you got to get it smaller, right? I don't like it at that real big size.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So between those four, man, that's my little super pack of aeration.
I usually use a big ass sledgehammer.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Go to work with them, man.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just
whichever ones get small. Whichever big ones don't.
I'm trying to provide soil for the masses, so you know it's a little different.
Yeah, and another thing, another great amendment to use is I swear it's dirt cheap, man. You get it by the pound. It's malted barley, man.
$1 a pound if you get the 50 pound. If you need it, I got you a $2 a pound all day.
And a pound to go far. I'm trying to tell y'all, man.
I use the heck out of it, man. Cladimus Cook probably make fun of me, man. I'm covering it until the entire top is white, and then I water, and I'm at least putting a half cup on my 20 gallons when I do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. When I first started using it, I was using it as a tea form, you know, brewing it up.
That's just extra
letting
step.
It ride. But yeah, that's just an extra step, man. When you could just go ahead and break that thing down, throw it on top of your soil, and water it in. And the benefits you get from that is just incredible.
I love seeing the growth on that, man. You come back the next day and it's just growth all over it. You know, when you see that, you just smile because you know your soil is going to be okay. You know the plant's going to be okay. Everything's good. You know. And it looked like Soil Biodeguru is completely agreeing with you on the insect frass, man. He's saying the nematodes and other stuff are putting right in there. So that's what I'm saying.
So but see, the thing is with the insect frass, if you're just beginning your soil and your soil mix, throw it in there.
Right. That's what I was doing.
You know what I'm saying? Throw it in there because you're giving it a head start. But once you got that soil running for like 2-3 phases, you don't need to add that in there. It's a lot of things that you don't need to add anymore. Once your soil is actually going, so the amendment, you always saving money, man. You know what I mean?
You can soil test it too to know exactly what you need
to
put back in. Then you're really saving.
And then if you feel like starting over, take that old soil you had and add it in with the new soil you about to do. So you know what I'm saying?
Look, I hope I get to that point.
Yeah,
that means.
well, I think I'm about to get to that point real soon. I'm getting real close to finishing up what I'm doing. Finally getting some things together.
That building looks neat you're working on. Your building looks neat.
Yeah. And see, what I was going to do at first was run a whole bunch of 20-gallon pots in there. But the more and more I've been thinking about it lately is I'm thinking about building me some raised beds.
100%, sir. It's the way to go.
I think I can get more out of it. Not only that, the mass of the soil, it's just going to give me a greater product at the end. That's what I'm going to do.
I agree 100%.
I wanted to use the pots because I had them. I've already got them, and all that. I didn't want to start over, but that was just me being lazy. So what I'm doing now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my old soil that I've been rocking now for like my 3rd, 4th phase. I'm going to break that down, and I'm going to build me some new soil again. I'm throw me some biocharge up in there, and I'm going to rock it out. I'm going to fill them beds back up. And
everything about it's better.
Yeah.
It really is.
And this is another thing. Well, we almost running out of time. We're going to begin the conversation tonight, and I guess we could talk about it next week if you come through. It's the cover crop. This is the other thing with the cover crop.
Critical.
Not only that, when you gardening, I don't know. When I first started, you growing out the closet and all that, the basement or whatever may have you. You growing a weed, you know, you growing a cannabis plant. Woohoo, that's great. But then it gets lonely. I don't know. I ain't trying to be funny or whatever, but yeah, then it gets lonely. It's there by itself, right?
Yeah, it's monotonous. Yeah,
so you know, this is another plus about the no-till garden. Is you can have companion plants. So it's not just the cannabis growing, but you also have your companion plants that's beneficial in so many ways, man. Not only to the plant, but to fighting off infestation as well. So, you know, you also use that as an IPM as well, you know. So, you know, we could start talking about that tonight and finish up next week or whatever may have you. But the funny thing about all this we talking about, man, it's hardly costing you anything. Yeah, we start sitting here. I mean, I ain't trying to rain down on everybody, but if I've done it, this is why I gotta say it. If we start getting into, I need the grandmaster level grow from advanced nutrients. I just can't have the regular. I need the grandmaster level because I got to be better than everybody else, right?
Oh, my pH,
man,
my pH perfect,
fuck
right?
me, man. How much money I spent on that fucking bullshit there, man. I'm telling you, man, like I was so led the wrong way, I assume. But like I said, man, I did research. I dug deeper, man. What the hell am I doing wrong? Why is my shit always tasting the fucking same? I got train wreck and lemon kush, but it all tastes like Bubba Kush. What's going on, man? Yeah. So, you know, I had to get down and do my research, man. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to be funny, man, but if you let this plant express itself the way it want to express itself, then all these names that we throwing behind these genetics, they really going to be able to express themselves the way they supposed to. Man, when I was my last big grow, I had terpenes that was sticky. Plant right next to it, I had terpenes that was slick as grease. I mean, really, man.
It's interesting you say that because I was listening. There's a podcast on Kiss Organics. He's got some good podcasts on that.
That's my dude, man. That's my dude, man.
So I don't remember what podcast, but they were talking about how the plant changes the terpenes all the time. Like it can switch them out, and that's why a plant will change smells during different parts of flower. So that's what we're joking about. The products that say they're adding terpenes. It could be adding a terpene, but the plant's going to change it to whatever terpene it wants it to be.
Exactly.
So it makes no sense. You know, the plant's going to do what it wants to do as far as I understand, you know, and that might be the science behind that's a little bit past me, you know what I mean? But that expert definitely sounded like they were saying. And it makes sense. Yeah. Like you were saying, there's the application of that. You saw that, you know, you observed that. So
and that's true, Bill, man. It's like especially for the growers that grow different genes, you know, different strains. This type of growing lets you see what your plant actually is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, it lets the plant express itself. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, like, the plant is communicating with the soil life in the soil.
Absolutely.
So, if it needs more of this or more of that, it excretes exudates, also known as sugars.
Sweet sugars.
Sweet sugars that attract the bacteria and the fungi to the rhizosphere. Yep. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like this is always constant battle and growing and eating and man, I'm telling you, man, when you're sleeping, the garden is still thriving.
You know, it's funny. People were talking about how we all started with the same thing. I found one of my old grow journals talking about 10 milliliters of this, 5 milliliters of this, whatever, and 20 of this, 30 of that. You know, and it's, you know, pH meters, always having to buy the cheap pH meter from China because it only lasted for a little bit, but I got to, you know, get it cheap for $7 and use it for a month, throw it away. It would never, you know, never calibrate or whatever.
The little syringes.
Yeah, though, you know, so many things. And now you ain't got to worry about the pH because of what you're talking about. The microbial life, you know, in the root zone is buffering that pH. It's changing, it's making it what the plant needs it to be at that time to get the nutrients it needs. And You know, I saw someone said something about biodynamic accumulators. That's something I'm shooting for in outdoor, because you really, you know, comfrey, stinging nettle, yarrow, we need to plant them outdoors. We need them to go 30 feet in the ground in DC soil, and all the rock and subsoil DC's got would bring up some great nutrient, man. That's going to be some good stuff. So I'm hoping in the spring to plant that outdoors. And
I actually got some seeds ready to go.
There we go. You know, so everybody's on, you know, so plant your stuff. Use your yard space. Plant stuff. You know?
Yeah, and these stuff that we're talking about, these the accumulators that you could use in your soil, man. Like, all right, for example, we got this product called Mammoth P, right? Mammoth P is supposed to be great. It's supposed to boost your budding process and flower, or whatever case may have you.
Right. They're out of University of Colorado. These scientists, they isolated, I think, 3 phosphorus doing microbes or whatever, and they found it was too darn expensive for agriculture. So what they do? They took it to cannabis.
Yeah, and it's expensive in cannabis. Now, I'm not knocking what they doing, and I'm not saying what they got don't work. But what I am telling you is, if you take some comfrey when you flowering and mulch that shit into your soil, guess what? It works like 3, 4, 5 times better than that $186 or something like that bottle of Mammoth P.
I mean, if there's a soil scientist out there listening that can correct me and dial me in on this, I don't know, but I know those are, you know, microbes they isolated. But I feel like in some good compost and in a well done soil, that stuff should be in there.
Exactly.
You know, and that's where it comes back to. Now, will that product help a hydro grower or someone growing in cocoa with worm castings?
And
Probably.
That's why I think, that's why I said I'm not going to knock what they do, because it might have a value in different types of methods.
Yeah, I don't think we need it.
Exactly. I think that's where it's coming from. Actually, a good, healthy soil, because what you're doing is captivating bacterial and fungi life and bottling up in a whole bunch of water.
Right.
So, you know, you already have that naturally in your soil if you got a good, healthy, thriving soil.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. If you're not taking care of your soil, then you could run into some issues.
Right.
You got anaerobic bacteria that could definitely
if your soil
send you the
soil
wrong
gets
way.
stinky, you know, you got problems. So.
You could start leading to pathogens and all that other stuff. So, yeah, it's precautions we have to take. Hell yeah, but they're not hard precautions at all. You know what I mean? It's just that keeping an eye on your garden, and that's something every gardener should do. And I'm sitting here looking at the time. Today has been a great show, and I appreciate
I've had so much fun with you.
I'm telling you, we didn't even get to cover everything you had on it.
I'm telling you, we could spend years just talking about that stack of books right there.
And this stack of books right here, I'm telling you, can we even see this on the camera?
Check out my Instagram, Cannabis DC. You'll be able to see the picture.
This is a great start right here.
This is where it's at right here.
This is right here is a great start. And that's all 3 editions. Yeah. Read them.
There they are.
Read them. And teaming with microbes.
That's where you need to start.
No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know where you want to start from, but don't get discouraged when you're reading this book.
Oh.
Because it do start slow, man. I'm telling you, it's stuff. But once you get into this shit, you like, oh, okay, I get it now. So it's definitely a book to read, man. You know what I mean?
Embrace the science.
Yeah, because to me, man, I had to get into it, man. But once I did, yeah, man, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, now it start to make now what Elaine was talking about. I'm like, okay. Everybody's on, like, we have all these organic growers. Everybody grows different.
Right.
But the end result pretty much be the same when everybody talks about, guess what's the most important thing is? It's that compost. Mm-hmm. It's that compost in your soil.
Quality compost.
Quality compost. So with that being said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because it's about that time, right, Jacob? It's about that time. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. And I thank y'all for coming through tonight, asking questions. Next week is going to be better.
I appreciate all the support. My people coming out from Instagram. I appreciate you having me on DC Pharma. It's been awesome. Anytime I get to talk no-till, it's a good day. And I also want to put out there that I have a phone number. I'm going to bring it in next week so people could call in. I have what's they call, a mini ripper. Mm-hmm. I have that to give away. Nice. Brand new. Still in the case. So we're going to do a call-in thing where people call in. Whatever number caller is, they win it. All right.
We'll have that next week for y'all. Again, thank y'all for coming through. It was a great show. Way better than the first one, that's for sure. And hopefully you be here next week. I don't know.
I hope to be.
No pressure.
We'll see what we can do.
We see what we can do.
All right.
So thank y'all for joining us, and see y'all next week, Monday, same time, same channel on Listen Vision Live, y'all.
All right, y'all have a good night.